Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our latest episode of NetSuite versus Business Central in our series of webinars. Today we look at AI in ERP, particularly NetSuite and Business Central. AI is really in vogue at the moment, and we are starting to see it creep into our everyday lives and business. And today, Mark and Gary are going to talk to you around the benefits new ERP solutions, particularly from NetSuite and Microsoft, that AI can bring. So let's just start off with the agenda. So we're just going to quickly go into introduction of who's on the call from Nolan. I'm going to just do a really brief whistle-top tour of Nolan, and then Mark and Gary are going to get into the weeds and AI in NetSuite and Business Central, and then we're going to talk around how you can get started in deploying AI within your future environments. So moving forward, let me introduce to you who we've got here today. We've got Mark Hennessy, who's our Managing Director. Mark's been involved. Thanks, Mark. Mark's been involved in probably all our NetSuite implementations over the years, so he's very well in the best place to be able to do that for here today. I apologise. I'm Jason Zimmer. I'm a lot of the people on the call today are existing GP customers, and I'm the GP account manager. Please excuse me for not smiling. I'm in between Mark and Gary. I think that's why I've got a sad look on my face. And that brings me to Gary. Gary's our client cloud migration specialist, specializing within the Business Central side. And we've also got Adam, who's our marketing manager, who's put together today's slides and sent you all invites. So welcome to you all. So just a quick slide around Nolan. I believe most of you on the call will know us. For those who don't, we're the UK's only NetSuite and Business Central partner, which puts us in a very good position to do webinars like this. We were founded in 1988, and so with many years offering ERP advice, support, consultancy, and implementations. We've been doing cloud implementations for over 17 years now. And are a leading partner for NetSuite and Business Central. We have over 1,300 active account customers worldwide. We have a very strong team in both areas. So we have support teams that are specialized within NetSuite and Microsoft within Business Central, and they're backed up by individual development teams and consultancy teams that can deliver those solutions. And backing those up are training and project management that have been delivering many implementations in cloud ERP over the years. So let's get started within AI. So I'll hand over to Gary. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Jason. So we thought we'd just provide a little bit of concept in terms of background of AI, where it's come from, where it is today, and cover some of the buzzwords. So AI generally is not new. It's been around since the 1950s and began really with rules-based and algorithm-based functionality that handle various different knowledges and provided you with information, and then developed into machine learning later on, where the programs started to generate their own algorithms, and then more recently to deep learning, where it is still generating its own algorithms, but the need for that rules-based background is no longer required within AI. More recently, I think everybody's experience more recently has been around the generative AI, where you can get AI to produce various different images, recordings, text, etc., and the product will go and generate that brand new the content. And then as well, then we've enhanced that further with the introduction of large language models over the last sort of 8-9 years, and those really have helped produce coherent natural language into the process so that we can engage and interact with AI models as we would do each other. You may have heard various different terms regarding different types of AI. I'm going to talk about the difference between assistants and agents. So assistants are Copilot, AI. Microsoft brand it as Copilot, but they are prompts that you can do. The assistants will bring you back information. They will collate and generate text based on prompts that you provide it. Agents, however, are AI that will automate a task or a job. They're reliant on human input to start them off and to provide the various input required to automate that task, but they'll do more than one thing. Autonomous agents are reason-based, and they can be prompted by triggers. So for instance, an email into an inbox or a trigger within your ERP system, and there's no need for human intervention for them to go away and do that task, although most agents have the ability to keep a human in the loop. And then more recently, there's terminology about agent swarms, which are multiple agents that are triggering each other to handle bigger and more linked business processes. So for instance, sales orders, purchase orders, receivables, one off the back of each other. So that's some of the terminology that's existing or out there at the moment. How's that interpreted within ERP? Well, the bold line at the top really sort of sums it up. AI within ERP is about automating repetitive tasks. It's about streamlining your workflows, and it's about improving data accuracy. So for argument's sake, within sales, it's about automating that sort of lead generation and order capture. Within financial management, it's about enhancing your data, better quality, providing in digestible, easy for me to say, easy chunks to digest. That's a better way of putting it. Operations management, so looking at inventory levels and reducing your waste, and supply chain management for forecasting your demand and supply. But let's look specifically now at where it exists within Business Central and NetSuite. So I'm going to cover the Business Central. I'll hand over to Mark to cover NetSuite. So within Business Central, it exists really as you see it in any other AI tool, really. There are tools there to help with knowledge. So things like help functions, generative text for marketing. There are AI tools to automate tasks like order processing. And there are AI tools really for data to help you analyze it, to help forecasts and those sort of things. And Copilot, as well as being in Business Central, also extends to some of the Power platforms, so Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, where you can automate some of those processes and further extend your data analysis within those applications. So let's have look at a couple of examples. So first of all, chat with Copilot. The image on the left really shows someone interacting with there, asking to see recent sales orders, and Copilot's gone away and brought those back. We can predefine that there with further prompts by asking it which ones were delivered to the Birmingham depot, for argument's sake, and it will filter out those orders even further. With the marketing text, that will work on data that you've got in the system about your products, and it will come up with creative text for your marketing, for your website, which you can enhance. From the analysis side, within Business Central, there is the ability to pivot data within various different lists. On the left, we have a list of various different items where you can put that into a pivot table, but you don't need to be an expert within that. You can use Copilot. So the prompt on the right has asked Copilot to show total quantities per type per unit of measurement, and it's created that pivot table for you using the prompt and the data available. In terms of sales order processing, there's a few different options within there. The image on the left-hand side is where I've looked at a particular chair. It's out of stock at the moment. I've asked Copilot to suggest substitutions that I could use for this particular customer. It's come up with a list. And again, I can prompt further to narrow down that list. And on the right-hand side, I can suggest order lines with Copilot. So when I'm taking an order for a customer, I look at previous orders, stuff that it's used before from perhaps a previous invoice. I can link it to an email that a customer sent me or a document like an Excel spreadsheet, and it will create those order lines based on the content that's available. This next slide is really highlighting the sales order agent, the first agent into Business Central. The left-hand image there is a preview pane of the messages that are coming in through the sales inbox. The Copilot is monitoring and establishing whether they're orders, whether they're inquiries about something else. It's then sort of taking those emails and it's creating responses to the customers, which is the middle image that we're seeing there. Giving them the information that they want. Once those emails have come back and forth and we've established what the customer's after and they're happy to proceed, the image on the right hand side of there is the email with the order confirmation attached to it, and all of that can be automated within Business Central, obviously with human prompts as required. And this next image gives you a bit of an idea, without going through the detail of it, of where those different prompts can come into the reckoning. But that's what AI can do currently within Business Central. I'm going to hand over to Mark, who will talk now about AI within NetSuite.
Thank you, Gary. You can see my screen there. So AI in NetSuite. NetSuite has a sort of a slightly different approach in a way that they sort of talk about the power of the suite. NetSuite's a very sort of wide product, including things like CRM and customer services and project management, in addition to core ERP and finance and procurement, all those other things. So they Oracle argue that the best AI comes from the best data, and because NetSuite has that breadth of data across your whole organization, you've got that data to apply the AI to. This is the sort of technology stack that sits beneath it all, really, that Oracle have made available to NetSuite. So the bottom layer, the infrastructure, the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Autonomous Database, across all those regions, and partnered with NVIDIA for compute power and Cohere for the large language models. And really that autonomous database has been there for years, and that's used AI to patch and maintain that database so that any of us really knowing that they're doing it, but that's been sort of sat underneath it all for a long time. They've then got their AI services layer above that, where various things that the Oracle AI sort of platform can do. So summarizing, searching, classifying data, creating insights, creating SQL queries. Moving to the right, sort of it can recognize images with vision. It can understand speech and turn it into text, anomaly detection, document understanding, those types of things. So there's all these different services there that we've got to play with, essentially. Above that platform level, this is when we start to see it coming through, really, is so we can use the AI within our own customizations. We can use it to automate processes. We can use it to actually build apps now, which is really interesting, help with integrations, and then to distribute those apps out to customers. And really the top layer is where you see it actually coming through in the ERP or in the CRM system, or the PSA or commerce or whatever it might be, or the analytics and reporting, more importantly, and they've done a lot of work around that. So that's where we see it on your desktop kind of thing. The top corner there, suiteapp.com, is really interesting for Nolan's as a development partner. We publish our apps on suiteapp.com, and we can use all of these AI tools now in our app development as well, which is really exciting to see. So Oracle talk about kind of assistants and advisors, so it's slightly different terminology really than the Microsoft side, but pretty similar. So assistants handling repetitive tasks, increasing accuracy, speed, and ultimately employee productivity, reducing errors. And advisors really looking at your data and giving you information from it. So identifying trends, making predictions, delivering insights into your data. So in the suite today, and some of these things have been rolled out in the US first before they hit the UK, but in the suite today, we've got the advisors. So really this is around the reporting and analytics side. So planning and budgeting, looking at forecasting and so on. Analytics warehouse is particularly good. So it just interrogates your NetSuite data and, you know, just gives you reporting back from it. And also things like item recommendations and looking at your supply chain control tower, trying to spot problems in your supply chain coming through. Assistance in there, so bill capture, so capturing supplier invoices, vendor bills, same thing. Text enhance is on these sort of large text boxes you have in NetSuite. You can use AI in there, a bit like you would use ChatGPT or something. You can control those things with Prompt Studio and control the results of those text boxes. Then we've got financial acceptance management, Suite Analytics Assistant. I won't read them all, but there's a couple of sort of next slides go into a bit more detail on these things, but lots already in NetSuite. So they talk about AI being built in, not sort of bolted on the outside. I mean, I think Microsoft are good at this as well, but you know, other systems don't have the resource that the likes of Oracle and Microsoft have, so they're not able to build it into the core of the product. And the screenshot here is an example of AI generating an item description. This is one of these text enhanced boxes. So it'll look at this item, what it knows about the item and how you've configured it in NetSuite, and then come up with a description of it for you to use in your sales or purchase transactions. This is NetSuite Analytics Warehouse. So looking at your data and making predictions. So, you know, it's all letting you know kind of, you know, your sales are 32% lower than in your forecasting. So this is this is all the different areas of breaking that down, you know, within that. So the supply chain control tower, predicting risks. So it's looking at historic data. It's coming up and saying there, I was saying, look, we've got this supplier called Sentry. They're 2 days late on their PO. We're 51% confident that, you know, that you're not going to get this purchase order on time based on what's happened in the past. So what do you want to do about it? You know, do you want to give them a call and try and resolve that? But just predicting risks in your supply chain, you know, looking at your data and surfacing that kind of intelligence to you. This is financial acceptance management. So you can see here in this report at the top here, we've got a bill here that's potentially got the incorrect amount. There's a missing transaction. The one that's expecting to see it isn't there, because it's looking back at historic transactions, then saying what's happened in this period, what's different. So what are the potential anomalies in your data? So one potential one missing, unusual time of entry, a duplicate, this one's missing as well. And then you can go through these, tells you the impact of them, and you can look at the details of them and say, no, that's fine, I accept that. Or, oh, okay, actually that is wrong, let's go and fix that, or create a transaction that shouldn't be there, that isn't already there, kind of thing. So really good use of it. Scanner capture, so ingesting supplier invoices and turn them into actual transactions in your NetSuite. So reading that document and creating those transactions for you. So it's a really exciting part of the core NetSuite that's come along. Yeah, so it's whistle-stop tour, but there's lots in there. So coming soon, roadmaps and trends to watch.
Excellent. Thanks, Mark. So yeah, I'm going to cover some of the stuff that's on its way. So I mentioned earlier about sales order agent and how that's sort of really revolutionizing that sales order capture. Announced by Microsoft and available from H2 of this year is the payables agent. This is an area I think that's been streamlined through various things like EDI, OCR, connectivity into different systems. But as you can see from the image on the screen now, there's an awful lot that still requires human intervention in order to get it to the end game. And that's an ideal scenario for an agent. Click on the next screen for me. So this is the process that the payables agent will focus on, about automating everything really from vendor invoice received right the way up to a posted invoice. The product will be designed to work with various different incoming invoices, e-documents, PDFs, etc. It'll use intelligent accounting to work out where to sort of post that to, create the purchase orders, providing you with sort of a split screen of the document and the transaction that's going to be posted within Business Central, and then configurable human in the loop along that process to keep that in control. And later roadmaps then that will be brought into that is extending the support of other e-documents, purchase order matching, and enhancing the comprehensive workflows that exist within the system. Outside of that, that next exciting release from Microsoft will be further enhancements to the Copilot Assistant within various different areas of the system, but almost certainly we'll see further enhancements to other agents within there. None of these are officially roadmap, but these are the sort of conversations that are going around about some of the ideas and concepts that are looking to appear within the product. So agents around lead generation, agents to help with the analysis more proactively, purchasing agents, receivables agents, linking together with the swarms that I mentioned earlier to sort of automate lots more of your linked business processes.
Okay, thanks, Gary. So from the Oracle side, they're obviously always bold in their claims. So AI everywhere is what they're going for. So they're going to continue working embedding AI throughout the suite, but all the while keeping the human in the loop, as Gary was alluding to earlier. And that's really important that we don't let it run amok. There's always a human being sort of controlling this stuff at the end of the day, and it's just helping us to do our jobs and to be more productive. One of the things that NetSuite have done and are quite good at is allowing us as developers to get at the AI beneath all of this. So there's APIs in the Gen AI tools that we can get to, and even this morning I've seen our developers demo some stuff for us, which helps us to unit test software, so they can give the AI a set of predicted results we expect to see from a particular piece of code runs, and then look at the results and have the AI interpret the results and see if they're the same or not, and tell us what's gone wrong in there. So really clever stuff behind the scenes, even that doesn't surface to the user, but just makes everything more efficient, more reliable, more stable, and also lots of ways we can surface it to the user as well. It's really about what the use case is, what the idea is, what do you want it to do. That's where I think everybody's just got their thinking caps on, really trying to come up with use cases for AI. So questions to ask when evaluating your readiness and your sort of ERP strategy and how AI fits into that. So really, how can you make the most of AI? So obviously there's all the standard functionality in both platforms to take advantage of, and you'll see that come through with actually very little configuration when it does come through. Just sort of turn it on and it seems to be there, which is really clever how they're doing it. But there'll be other additional areas that you may want to think about that may help your business. So lead with your business objectives. What are you trying to achieve? What are the challenges and barriers to those objectives, and how might we better help you do it with using AI? What data sources have we got that we can train the AI on, or have it use the AI to analyze that data? And what's the potential payback for you on that? We've introduced more automation. How does that pay you back? And then really important, look at the governance around this when you're using these platforms, making sure the data we give it is secure, just being really aware of what we're doing with our data, obviously. So Jason, I'll hand over you to sum up.
Thanks, Mark. Yes, that's really good. Thank you, Mark and Gary, for that insight. So let's look at summarizing this then. So Oracle excels in infrastructure, data management, solutions tailored to enterprise needs, where Microsoft leads in a broad Microsoft toolset, as we know, a comprehensive AI platform, and a strong ecosystem for AI development. So what do we have to do, or what challenges are here? So keep in sight of company objectives, identify the challenges that await should drive your AI strategy. Both Oracle and Microsoft are actually investing in AI and are leading the evolving landscape of AI technology. I think really that summarizes, both Mark and Gary alluded to this earlier, where the size of both Microsoft and Oracle put them in a unique place to offer this type of solution. If you see where the AI fits in between the vast infrastructure these companies can offer and the platforms of Business Central and NetSuite. So how to get started with your AI journey? So just briefly, why Nolan are best placed to work with you on this. We're the UK's, as we mentioned, we're the UK's only partner for Business Central and NetSuite. We take an impartial look at the 2 most popular systems in this space, and a large team of qualified consultants and developers to leverage your AI. And that really is important here. Is we have a development team that can work with you to make sure that either of these systems can be leveraged to work with with your company. So we have those skills, and we've been doing it within ERP for many years, and have sold our modules to both NetSuite and to Microsoft. So we have that experience within the teams. We know legacy ERP. We have been working with Dynamics GP for many years, but have also been migrating from all other legacy ERP systems. So we believe by offering these 2 systems, we can save you time in having to deal with multiple partners, and we have a dedicated project management team in place that have been involved in many cloud ERP implementations over the years, so they can put over that knowledge of how to do a successful implementation. So finally, how can we make things easier for you? So we would look at offering 2 days of what we call pre-sales consultancy, which includes systems recommendation, software demos, and estimate, but really getting into the weeds of why areas such as AI can help, where that can help your business in moving to a new cloud-based ERP system. We are best placed to offer up to 40% discount on those software licenses that you will need. And many of you are customers of Noland on this call, and we can offer trade-in on Noland products that we have that you've used in legacy ERP solutions that have now been modernized to fit within the new cloud systems. So that just leaves me to say thank you to Mark and Gary for that insight on AI, and thank you all for attending. Please, if there's any question, please reach out to us. Adam will make sure that you get a copy of these slides and this broadcast. So thank you again for attending, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.